Hello one more time. This is our fourth video. We're going to continue discussing introduction to databases using Microsoft Access 2010 specifically. And we're going to move from the way we formed or created rather the form using the form wizard into something else. We going to really consider the heart of databases, which is query. A query by definition is a question based on certain criteria. In order to understand really query, the best way to explain it is to actually show you the example that we're going to continue to discuss, which is the list of the books. So I'm going to go to the ribbon create. If you don't see the ribbon create, you could go ahead and make sure that you click on it. And of course, we could go to the query design. This is the show table. It shows me if I have the list of the table that I would like to include in the query. Sometimes you actually have queries and table linked together, but again, we're going to stick with this extremely simple example, how table book is going to really get us the understanding that we need initially. So I'm going to go ahead and add it. And of course, I'm going to close this because I'm already done by adding. I'm going to add the book name because I need to know. I have two ways of doing it, either to click on it twice, as you see immediately, click twice and add that to the design of the query, or I could drag it. I don't want really to have the book ISBN number. This is really a piece of information data that doesn't help me. It was used to identify each book uniquely. So it has its own purpose in the table. It has its own purpose. It will have its own purpose later when we wanted to know which book specifically written by which author. And this is how we link author to a specific book by its own unique key, or primary key as we called it earlier. But I don't need it really to show it in the query, so I'm going to leave it. I need the date of publication, the price. I would like to see if it's a hardcover or not, or like to include hardcover or not in the subject. There's plenty of questions really we could ask ourselves to what we need to do. For example, if I wanted to find all the books that have the price greater than or equal to $85, how I'm going to do this? Of course, if I do run the query based on what I included without any additional criteria, here's the word criteria here, and if the criteria goes here, I could run this. It's going to show me the 5 record that I entered earlier. But the question here remains, if I wanted to go ahead and do some questioning. Yes, I wanted to go back again to the query design. See here, I'm changing the view. And under the price, I have one of those 6 relational operators that we learned about in a previous class. These are the greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Here's less than or equal to. And of course, we have that equal, which is by default if you don't put anything there, and the not equal. If I told you I wanted to have a list of all the books that have a price greater than or equal to $85, let's go ahead and take a look at the data. Of course, in the real world, we would not have 5 books. I'm running a public library or a bookstore, then it's going to have a lot more than 5 books. This should be included in my selection. This should be excluded because it's not going to meet my criteria. This is not going to meet my criteria. This will meet my criteria, and this will not meet my criteria. So again, to understand, when we go to the design of the query, I'm going to put here, give me greater than or equal to 85. I don't put the $ here because if I do put the $, it's going to treat it as a text. And I don't want to really confuse that with Access. So when I'm trying to do inside the query the price, even though it's currency, I don't include the $. So I want to just make that clear. When I run this, you will notice that I'm only going to get those 2 books that meet my criteria, which is the price greater than or equal to $85. So this is again one of the query that I might ask, or I might like to see. Another query could be is to how to actually give me all the the books that are hardcover. So I'm going to say here hardcover, and I'm going to say enter the criteria yes. So I need to have the hardcover. Yes, when I run this, you notice everything I got is a hardcover. But it will make it much interesting because this is, if I don't want to show this is really that check mark here, but I still wanted to get all the hardcover, it's interesting enough that it's not going to show the hardcover, but it's going to really work on the criteria. Everything it's going to give me back is the hardcover. It does make sense. For example, I'm looking for all the cars in the parking lot as white. I don't want to say car white, white, white every time I get a record. I know everything is going to be white, so I'm going to exclude actually showing this in my query or in my report later. So when I run this one here, as you notice, it doesn't show me the hardcover because I know all of them are hardcover based on the fact that I use that in the query. Okay, that's something also we can use. And one thing quickly I wanted to make sure that you relate to, if I do actually put the greater than or equal to the 85, then I said here it's 85. If I put it on the next line, not on the same line, it's going to actually treat it as or. Or is a logical operator that is going to give it to me, give me a result back if it's actually one of them is true. If both of them are true, it's going to be fine. But if at least one of my condition or my criteria is true, it's going to give me some result. So if I say here I need it to be either greater than or equal to 85 in hardcover. So we'll see what first of all we're going to get. Obviously all the one that actually have greater than or equal to 85. No, actually that's good. We got this one here, $50. It doesn't meet the criteria of greater than or equal to 85, but it's still I'm able to get that record back from the query because it is a hardcover, because I said it's a greater than or equal to 85 or hardcover. So either one will do. This one actually, both of them are meeting the criteria because this is a greater than or equal to 85 and it's hardcover, and the same thing for this one that meet the criteria in both conditions. But or is very inclusive, meaning if I get one of them to be true, then I would actually get something back. If the other two field, I guess both of them are not greater than or equal to 85 and both of them are not hardcover, so it doesn't meet any of the criteria. The last thing I wanted to discuss about the query, for example, if I said to you here, I don't want it to have or, I'm going to put greater than or equal to 85 and they must be hardcover. So I'm going to put them on the same line. If I put those in the same line, that means it must be both. It must be greater than or equal to 85 and it must be a hardcover. And that is actually in reference to and, the logical operator and. And means both of those must exist, or both condition or criteria must exist in order for me to get something back. And as a result, when you run this, of course, this has to be greater than or equal to 85, and it must be also hardcover, and this has to be also greater than or equal to 85 and must be hardcover in order for me to get it. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and save this query, and I use that similar to saving a file. I'm going to say save object as, which is a query. Notice that the query I could say here QRY, okay, all books greater than. Let me go ahead and put some spaces here. All books greater than or equal to $85. Here I could put the $sign because it's part of the text, and hardcover. And here we go. I hit enter or OK, either way it's going to do the same thing. And as you notice here, we have actually the query is being saved. So what are we going to do here? As you notice here, I went back to the my database and I got my query, and that's the result of it. What I'm going to do in the next video in how to actually create a report based on my query. And until then, you have a great time watching this video, and I do suggest to watch it a little bit, a couple more times. And I'll see you in the following up videos. Thank you.